Been working on this bracket today. So I've been working on my position stand and drill my holes in it so I can mount it down inside of the container when I'm doing my classes. And I also built a bracket to sit the welder on because I'm trying to utilize the space. So I was thinking with the way this is seated, with the way I can mount this up in the center, it'll kind of anchor itself. And it's not anchored down right now, but it works perfectly and I can still use everything and I can break everything down. So the goal is to be able to utilize the space. So I was thinking, why have another table in there if I can utilize the space? You know, build me a bracket, you know, and I could be able to take all of this apart. The bracket itself will stay on the spindle. It'll stay on the main tube, but I can be able to break everything else, you know, down. And I think that's a big asset when you're building your independence and you're getting things lined out. You want to be able to be mobile. I think being mobile is very important, especially today because everything requires us to move around and disassemble. So just want to break down this, how I take this apart. So you just take these off. Just gonna set everything on the ground. But I'm actually, the purpose of designing it like this to, if I was moving it around or someone wanted to buy one, they could buy one for me. Then I was also thinking about making the inside of it out of pipe, the spin, because pipe is a lot higher right now than the tubing was. So I could actually make a piece for piping to spin, but that's why I did that head piece like that instead of having a whole piece spinning. You know what I mean? But it still all works. And with your piece here, as you see, everything breaks down. So, and now all you left with is this. So after you break it all down, that's all you got. You got your base. Like I said, I'm gonna anchor this to the ground. I'm gonna anchor that. So I got my holes and everything in it. So I can anchor that, go up. So I'm out here, I wanted to show you how I broke that down, but you see I made it so I can be able to utilize the space and I can still do a few different things with this welding position stand, and I just made it. And like I say, this is something just, I winged this part, you know what I mean? So I can make it a lot more custom as far as this bracket, but I was using actually some leftover scrap. You remember how I like to say one man's trash is next man's treasure. So instead of just throwing stuff away, I just utilized what I had. And that's what I had. Like I say, this is easy to do. And then it'll give me a lot more room inside of the container when I'm doing the classes, because I can just have this. And it kills several birds in one stone, because not only is it a bracket, turn this around this way. So not only is it a bracket, so to speak, you know what I mean? But you don't have to have all the rest of the stuff. Like I had this, I got the table, the bracket, the stand, is pretty much everything. So instead of having that table in there when I'm using it in the shop, I don't need to have that table in there to take up that much space if I got this table. Because normally you having a table to, when you're doing flat, or when you're sitting your chipper hammer, you know, wire brush your grinder on while you're doing it, or, you know, you use it to, you know, prop off of it. But that was the goal though. So I just wanted to utilize what I had, make it work, and everything fits in like I wanted it, and I made it tight. You know what I mean? So my goal was to be able to kill a couple birds with one stone. So just to give you an idea, like I said, this is something you can make at home. That plate is actually a 1/4 inch plate. 1/4 inch, I think it's 18 by 20. but it don't have to be that wide. But I had a good base, so I'm like, yeah, I can keep that. You know what I mean? So it was just a good base for me. I think some that I seen was a little bit narrow than that, and you can still anchor it down. You don't have to have a base that big. Really, I mean, it can be a lot smaller. It can be a 12 by 12, really, if you anchoring it down. But by this one being big, it can actually hold the welder there without being anchored down. You know what I mean? So I can still use it without putting everything else together on it. But I made this to have everything: the base, the pole, the bracket, and then the table. And all of this is optional. You know what I mean? Like how you, as far as how you want it or whatnot, you can do whatever you want to do with this. Doing this with one hand, so y'all know it's kind of awkward. But we're gonna multitask real quick. I just wanted to take it apart and put it back together real quick. But as you see how everything. So now you got your table, and then with all your goodies or whatnot. You had your rod, shipping handle. You know what I'm saying? You got your table, so I'll sit that there before you get ready to do your thing. And then your last piece, your arm. And the cool thing about this, you can flip it upside down, up. It just depends on how you want it. I mean, I made the pole actually 6 foot, so that way this here go up a little higher, but this is actually 6 foot. But for the people that's taller, you can make your pole a little taller, but I'm 5'8", so 5'9" with boots on, so I ain't no super tall dude. I'm just, average, I guess, or a little under average. I'm 5'8", 5'9", so. But that's a good little position for me. And then you sit your piece in there. And then this here, you can tilt it up and down if you like. I got it set right now where I want it. And you kind of just do your thing, you know what I mean? So my goal was to build something I could kill several birds with one stone with. So with this welding position stand, my goal was to have the table, the welding bracket to hold the welder, and the position to stand so we can be able to do overhead, flat, horizontal. We can do everything with the stand. We can even drop the stand and have your plate flat and weld and sit down, you know what I mean? Or sit it on top of the plate. But the table is actually a 1/4 inch, and that's a 1/4 inch. I actually got a deal. I think I got this plate together, and I cut that piece off and used it, and then I kept that for the base. But I actually got this as a standard piece that they have at steel mills. You know how they have them. Someone cut a piece and you have a drop. So that was like a nice size drop. But just wanted to give y'all some updates on the welding position stand. This is something that I made. This is a handmade product of mine, and something that I made so I can be able to help teach independent. So when I'm teaching people how to stick weld or TIG weld or flux core, this is a stand that I use and just sit the machine on it and go from there. So the goal is just to have a multi-processor of some kind when I'm teaching, because the cool thing in it, when you're teaching, you can start off with a base model, and then you can always increase, because I did an interview today, and that's one thing that the gentleman said, that he had to learn the welding machine. So it's good to learn your equipment. Learn what the dials stand for, learn what it means, do some little tweaking. That way you would know the difference and knowing how to set your art, So I think it's very wise to learn whatever machine you got. Learn that machine, and if you get a new one, do a little small troubleshoot over the machine, so that way you can get familiar with some of the settings and what need to be done. With this one, like I say, this one TIG and stick, so it got a few different options on this one. But we most definitely can get our hog on with it. We can study and learn a lot. So that's why I got this unit. It's a great unit. Got a great deal on it. Been holding this one for a while. So this will probably be one that'll be with me until it just absolutely die out. And I think it'll last for a while. So it's bad. So what we're gonna do is, man, I just want to give y'all an update on this. I'm gonna let y'all go. Hope everybody having a good Saturday. It's been a little rainy. I couldn't open up today due to the rain. I could have went, but it wasn't a lot of people out. But tomorrow's supposed to be a better day. So just wanted to give y'all an update on my welding position stand. Y'all be blessed. Hold on.